Awesomeness. Alrighty. Let's get this party started. We've got a beautiful, beautiful session. Are people starting to join in, Els?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just share my screen here. Let's call Big Sister on the other side to check everything's working before she shouts at us again.
Because that's what sisters do.
Yeah, let's get your net. Shouting machines. What's up, Buttercup?
What's the word? Hummingbird, are you guys ready?
Dude, we've been ready.
Oh, have you been ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll check that everything's working.
Yeah, I'm going on there now.
This is a kick-ass training exercise we're going to do with the people that will potentially save you hundreds of thousands of rands when it comes to trading in the right time, when it's the wrong time, because there's definitely a wrong time. And for those of you that have an itch, in Afrikaans, there's a nice saying, my gat juk. So sometimes that scratch will cost you unnecessary money. And hopefully, after tonight, you don't need to process that. What's up, TikTok? Gonna rock your world tonight, boys and girls. And tomorrow, we have, I always say, it's our biggest auction. But tomorrow, we have our biggest auction that we've ever had. I think, how many cars do we have? I was like 7 or 8, including 6 plus the one in the storeroom there on top.
Okay.
7.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's going to be an 8th one tomorrow. How many energy drinks are you going to have to drink to keep up with me tomorrow, Els?
None, because I'm on fast.
You're fasting? Oh, yeah. So you're going to be half asleep. Tomorrow's your second day.
Tomorrow's second day, so more energy.
No, more energy than the third day. Ons kan jy maar net afskryf.
Miskien as jy vast, maar as ek vast, is dit beter. Ek is nie so reliable op kos soos wat jy is.
Holy moly. So we're just going to make sure everything is working properly. And
Malume, Bobby.
Malume, how are you? Uncle. 500,000 deposit.
Hello, John.
2 million rand. So we are very much excited. We sold our very first American truck today, the Longhorn. What a kick-ass bucky. We delivered it about 10 minutes ago to a lady that's, I'm normal height. She is even shorter than me. She's like a Lena size, 1.50 meters. And she's driving that big-ass bucky. When she pulled away, it was spinning the tires.
That's cool.
Yeah, she was laughing. She says, it's got so much power, Uncle Bobby. Why did you hang up, homie? Is everything working? Are you happy with everything?
Yes. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on.
Okay, so everything's lacquer. We can start.
Good, yes.
Alrighty. Cool. Bye. All right, let's start. Let's kick it off. Attendees, everybody's here that needs to be here. Welcome, everyone. We are going to process trade-ins, settlement values, and what the term special settlements actually means, how it works, when are you allowed to pull one, who is allowed to pull one, does every bank offer it? We're going to dive deep into the topic, and the intent is to leave you a whole lot better than we found you. So having said that, Els, let's kick it in. It's 4 quick slides, powerful slides that will add massive value, intense value. We're going to start off with special settlements, how to request one, what are the requirements for one, how banks calculate the settlements, equity versus negative equity, explained in detail. I'm going to go in great detail and in plain English as far as I can use as little terminology that is like car jargon as possible. If I lose you guys somewhere, please, especially on TikTok Live, just ask a question. Elsie will pose it to me in real time and I'll give you my best to answer it. Let's start. Ready, Els?
Ready.
Okay, unpacking special settlements. Who can request a special settlement? Now, I'm not saying all the dealers do it, but some dealers do it. Where banks, most banks are allowed to give you a special settlement if, and this is the non-negotiable, you finance with them again. In the past, you could request a special settlement even if you don't finance with them again. But of late, over the last couple of months, you request a special settlement, they say yes, and the only condition is that we refinance with them. So we do it a lot with Westbank, request a special settlement through Westbank. We push the deal through to Westbank again. That is also a perk that you receive from them to say thank you very much for supporting us again. We will give you this reduced settlement. However, we want to earn your business in the future. Now, reduced settlement on vehicles may vary from anything I've seen on the lower end, 2,500, 3,500 rand, and the very, very expensive cars, 25, 28, 38,000 rand, lower than what a normal settlement, if you go through the normal channel, will be. But once again, if you're going to be taking a vehicle and settling it through Westbank and you want to go through ABSA, then the bank doesn't have to give you that special settlement. They literally don't. Also, another thing on special settlements is your normal channel that we use to go and communicate with the bank. So we've got what we call a BDO. Remember that word, a BDO. This is the relationship manager between us, the dealership, and the bank. So our Westbank BDO is Lisa. So we can't just communicate with Westbank head office. That's not how it works. We present our case to Lisa. Lisa will then decide whether or not there's merit. She'll push it forward to head office. They'll take a couple of minutes, sometimes a half an hour, whatever the time frame is, and they'll come back to us and say, okay, normal settlement is 648, special settlement is 618, 625, whatever the case is, and then you can go on and finalize your new deal with them. So always ask your dealer, please ask for a special settlement if we're going through the same bank. Now, I'm not saying all the dealers do it, but some do it. Some do it. After you sign your paperwork, they'll get a special settlement if the bank was the same and bank that money as their second gross profit, because you will never know. So this is something that happens, and good dealers don't do it, and 99% of dealers out there are good, but some do. So it's just another tool in your arsenal, in your toolbox, that you can go and use to try and get yourself a better deal. Meaning, if the dealership is paying you settlement for the car, let's say it's 650 and the special settlement is requested, and there's another 25 grand that comes off because it's a heavy car, depending on the time of the month as well. When you request a special settlement, that 25,000 rand can go either as a cashback to you or as a deposit on the new vehicle, or whatever you want to do. Put some accessories. How's your auntie doing? Mags, whatever it is that you want to do with the extra 25 grand. But ask, may we please request a special settlement from the bank so that we finance through them again. It's a very, very, very unknown but nice tool to use next time you're trading in. Is there anything on the slide that I didn't explain? I was in full.
No, sir.
Any questions on TikTok? How many people are watching us? More than 2?
133.
Okay, cool. Any questions around special settlements? Shoot the question, please.
Where did you get all your knowledge?
Where did I get all my knowledge? 20 years actively doing this at a very high level. For the first 13 years of my life, it was Monday to Monday to Monday to Monday to Monday. I worked every Sunday as well. And then 7-8 years ago, I stopped doing the Monday to Monday thing. So Sunday is my day off, but I've been doing it for a very, very long time, for 20 years as an entrepreneur, as the leader of Mitmac Motors. And I worked for a dealership for 2 years before the time while I was in school and a year out of school. Actually, 3 years, standard 9 matric, and then a year out of school. And that's when we started the company and then pushed on from there on forward. Any other questions around special settlements?
Probably a 45K owing through Bidvest, so I'm planning to settle it. How do I request this special?
So if you're going through Bidvest and you're settling without refinancing, you can't request a special settlement. So it's a perk that the bank, it's almost like a trade-off. We will give you this money off, but we expect you to finance through us again, which, if you think about it logically, is fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. But if you're simply settling without refinancing, in the past, it's a great question. In the past, man, Westbank, especially Westbank, because we've had the same BDO for 10 years. Lisa's been with us for 10 years. And then when she knows, if I bring her certain things from the coffee shop, there's going to be a special settlement request. So I don't come empty-handed. I know what cappuccino she likes. I know what chocolate she likes or what lunch she likes. Help a brother out. Let's help a brother out, please, with a special settlement. And she would always help. She was always willing to help. But eventually, the bank said, listen, we don't need to do this. We are actually losing money every time we give you a special settlement, but we will offer you this perk if you refinance with us. So unless you're refinancing, sir, it's not possible, unfortunately. Any other questions I can touch on to make it more interactive?
I'm going to tell you now. How does my existing deal load it to the new deal?
How does my existing deal
Load to my new deal.
Okay, can you just elaborate that? I'm going to try and answer with the limited info that you've provided, but if you, for example, are trading in a C200 for a C300, just as an example, okay, let's not use Mercedes. We mustn't show them too much love. Let's say a 320D for a X340i. If your 320D is financed through Westbank and you owe 330 and the special settlement comes out at 310, if you finance your X3 through Westbank again, then obviously you've got an additional 20,000 Rand either towards a deposit or towards accessories or whatever it is, that, or cashback. You can ask for a cashback if you've already agreed on a number with the dealership. So which brings me to the next point. Before you ask for the special settlement, make sure that you are in a possession or in the possession of an offer, an actual offer from the dealer, because that's just another negotiating tool in your next step. So sequence it correctly. If you ask for the special settlement first, then the dealer will obviously know the settlement is reduced and might offer you less. So before you do that, ask them for the offer, make sure you're happy with the offer, and then proceed to ask them for a special settlement if you are going to be refinancing with that bank. I hope it answered your question.
Awesome, thank you very much. Hayley is asking, so only the dealer can request, as the client cannot?
Unfortunately not. So the dealer can request, but whoever the finance person is that's working with your transaction, he or she will have direct access to the BDO. And if you joined us now, the BDO is your relationship manager between dealership and the actual bank. And the BDO will then request it, push it up to head office, and head office will sign it off once they see that you are going through the same financial institution. Now, unfortunately, if it's Westbank going to ABSA, then obviously they're not going to say yes. Then you can have a bit of a tussle with your dealer and with obviously with the F&I. So why is ABSA getting my business? Is it because you're getting more DIC there, more incentive? Or is it because they're giving me actually a better deal, better interest rate, whatever? So chat to Westbank. Let's see if we can make it happen. Can they match that interest rate? I don't say all the time they can, but the banks are always hungry for business. If you produce a podium from ABSA to Westbank and say, this is the deal that's on the table from ABSA. This is your customer, Westbank customer. Match the deal. We don't ask you to beat the deal. Match the deal. Match the rate, match the term, match the conditions. Let's do the deal with you. Then you qualify for a special settlement. Hope that helps you. Any other questions on this slide?
No.
Nothing. Okay, cool. We can proceed. Like the lady at Home Affairs. Next. How do banks calculate settlements? Are there any penalties involved? Okay. Long ago, when Uncle Bobby started selling cars, the banks worked out your interest over the term, which means in month 30, if you hit the lotto or you got a sugar daddy that's got some money and he wants to settle your car, in month 30, you will pay the interest for the full 72 months. That's the settlement. Okay, some laws came out which were very, very good, and they protect the customer. The interest is calculated until the day of you requesting the settlement plus 7 days, because 7 days is what the settlement is actually valid for. Okay, the penalties come in if you settle your vehicle within the first 2 months. You will automatically pay a minimum of 3 months interest on the amount that you borrowed. So let's say, for example, you sign with me today. It's the 1st of October. And November, December, you say, I got some cash coming from an investment. I want to settle my car. You will pay interest until the end of January. You can't save yourself from those 3 months. It is by law signed off by the government. You pay for 3 months. But after the 3rd month, the settlement is calculated on the day that it's requested plus 7 days. Is there any questions on that statement that I just made?
Let's maybe give them a few minutes or just a minute to ask.
Okay, perfect. No problemos.
Maybe just announce that the floor is open for any questions, please. Sorry.
Okay, Dean is asking me here about how does a cashback work when you're buying a vehicle without a trade-in? Dean. You, my man, have been speaking to naughty dealers. That is not allowed. That is money raising. Not allowed. There's been dealerships in the KZN area, massive syndicate. Once the bank found out and they figured out what they were doing, those dealer codes were taken away. There was quite a big syndicate operating in the Gauteng area as well, where dealerships will go and typically, and this is just a nasty practice. They'll go and finance a Range Rover. We sold a Range Rover last week.
Yeah.
You still did the video. So that Range Rover was sold for $699. Okay, the retail on that car was $900. Okay, if you think about the ability to finance over retail, if the customer is strong enough, you can go 140% over retail. So already between what we're selling the car and retail is 200,000 Rand. Now, if you go 40% on 900, what will that be? Another 360,000. So it will be a 560,000 Rand difference between what we sold the car for and what the car can actually be financed for. So some naughty dealers in the KZN area, and there was one or two in the Gauteng, in Pretoria area, used to offer the customers cashbacks like 500,000 Rand cashback, 400,000 Rand cashback, and charge cashback. The problem is, number one, that customer is so desperate, he will end up reneging on payments, and the car will be, obviously it will be repossessed because he can't handle the amount that he has to pay per month, number one. But if he can handle the amount, number two is, that car is valued at 700,000. Yes, we sold it cheap. Yes, someone might sell it for 800, but it's not worth 1.3 million Rand. So the moment that you want to trade in that vehicle, you've built onto your house or whatever it is that you wanted to do with a cashback, the moment that you want to trade it in, that money is coming back to you. You are responsible for that money, plus interest, which means if you took a cashback and you trade that vehicle in with a dealership, with me, for example, and the car is now worth 600 and you owe 1.3 million, there's a 700,000 Rand over allowance. That's when you are in negative equity. And we're going to go through that on the next couple of slides. But when you're in negative equity, it's just adding on top of loads, on top of loads, on top of loads, on top of loads. And then you end up owing R1 million more for a car, and you're never going to pay it off. It will always just be a burden or a black cloud hanging above your head. So I don't know, you've been chatting to Elena. Thanks for sharing that. But brother, between you and I know some dealerships do it. It's very frowned upon. It's against your SLA, your service level agreement. It's not a good practice. It's not something that I would advise. And you think about it long and hard before you take that step, because it's always going to be on you at the end of the day that's responsible for paying that entire loan back. Any other questions?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Can I proceed?
Yes, thank you.
All right, perfect. Hope I'm adding value, guys. How does equity work? Negative versus positive equity. All right, so negative equity, I'm going to explain it to you in the perfect scenario. So this is perfect scenario. And I'm going to use no other dealerships except me. So you come and buy a vehicle from me, you buy a Starlet. We sign on the Starlet and it's a kick-ass car and you love the car and everything is sweet and using the car to go back and forth to work. Now, ideally, where you want to trade that vehicle in, if you are driving 25,000 kilometers per year and you're keeping the vehicle for minimum 3 years, that's where the break-even point happens, even if there's a residual value. Okay, so that's when you are neutral on equity. You're not in the negative, you're not yet in the positive. But let's say, for example, you meet someone, you fall in love, you guys have a baby. And now all of a sudden, because there's a baby, there's a kid or a bambino, you can't do with a Starlet anymore, because now there's a pram and there's all these other support bags that the women need with who knows what's inside their diapers and all this other stuff. Purity and like milk, powder milk, whatever it is that you guys carry around with kids. Okay, Uncle B, this car no longer works for me. We need to get out of this car and we want to go in the SUV. We want the Fortuner. Okay, cool. But it's only month 24. This is where you find yourself, if you didn't pay a deposit, you have a bit of negative equity. How much will it be? It will normally be a year's worth of installment, maybe a little bit less. So 40, 45,000, 35, 45,000 Rand. Now you've got options. What are your options? Option number one, you drive the car and you shove the bags a little bit tighter in the boot and you don't lose the money. Okay. Is that an option? No. All right, cool. Option number two, you take out 35,000 Rand because that's the difference between your settlement and what the car is worth. I'm just thumb sucking numbers just to explain it as plainly as possible. And you pay that money in and then you are square. You start your Fortuner off with the right amount. Okay. Very little does it happen in the industry. Option three is you take that 35,000 Rand and you use it as an over allowance on the Fortuner. So for plain maths sake, the Fortuner is 500,000 Rand and the over allowance is 35,000 Rand. So we'll end up financing on the vehicle 535. Okay, so instead of 500 on the car, we're taking off the negative equity, we're placing it onto the new vehicle so that we can continue afresh with that 35,000 Rand. Now, here's the challenge, and this is where dealerships need to improve in communication. I will tell you straight, like this, because of the negative equity that we've put on, which will add on to interest, you're no longer going to be able to trade this vehicle in the next 32 to 36 months. It will most likely be 48 months for you to break even. Are we comfortable that this vehicle will be able to handle your and your family's needs for the next 48 months? Are you planning to have 6 more babies, 2 more babies? What if you fall pregnant again? Is the Fortuner going to be big enough to handle 2 prams and more bags of stuff? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Then this is the right car. Put you in that car and carry on. Now, in Afrikaans, they say, "Gat. Whenever I hear that, I just hold my head like this. I say, okay, if you say my gat, you need to understand that that itch, that scratch that you're going to scratch now can only be scratched with money. Do you understand, Mr. or Mrs. Customer? Yes, I do. Okay, here's how it works. Customer, I'll use a real life example. One of my best repeat customers of all time. He bought 2 cars in the last 3 months. About 6 or 7 cars back, He phones me. He says to me, Pops, I've got a beautiful Ranger that I bought from you. What will you pay me? I said, so what are we buying next? No, I'm buying a brand new Land Rover. And then I hope Uncle is not watching me. He's going to kick me our ass. I'm buying a brand new Land Rover Discovery, not the Discovery, sorry, a Sport. Okay, it's a 7-seater Sport. Said, okay, well, let's process your decision making together. Do you need a 7-seater? No, but my wife smokes the car. She likes the car. She likes the grey. One of her friends at work has a car like that. I said, well, your kids are bigger than mine. Bigger than me. Sorry, I don't have kids. But your children are bigger than me. You don't need a 7-seater. You're not going to enjoy the car. I know who you are. I know your wife. It's a nice car. It will not fit your lifestyle. You go camping, you go to the bush, all this other stuff. You're an off-roady guy. Do not buy this car, Uncle. Pops, my mind's made up. What are you giving me for the Ranger? What do you want for the Ranger? This much. Okay, well, takes the Land Rover, sends me the delivery pictures, and I'm happy for him. And I'm just saying, well, please, I don't want to see you with this Land Rover for 3 years. Drive this Land Rover. Okay. 6 months later, 6 months later, he comes to me. I said, well, that look is the Mechatiak look. Okay. Yes, Pops, it is. You are right. This car doesn't serve the purpose. I said, okay. I'm not going to make you an offer because I value our friendship. What I will do is I will match the offer that Land Rover gives you on this car. Yeah, but my settlement. I said, listen, we had the conversation. Me and you spoke like grown-ups, and you went and bought this Land Rover. Go there where you bought it and go to these other 2 places in the area and get a number. He phones me. He says, I'm coming. He says, you are very right. I said, Wim, relax. It is what it is. So we've got options, Wim. And I suggest you take the option of driving the car. I can't live with this car, Pops. I can't. I need this car out of my yard. Okay. The over allowance was 380,000. I said to him, we can't do that. I will eliminate you out of the market forever and a day. Go and check, scratch in your accounts, have a look what's what there under the bed, inside the cupboard, by the next door's yard, wherever you've buried money. Tell me how much money you can raise to minimize the knock that you've got. Pops, I can't do that. I can't lose so much money. Drive the car with. So back and forward, like I'm begging him not to do a deal with me, to drive the car, because I can't get it over my heart. It's almost R500,000 that he lost in 6 months. How is it Land Rover's fault? No. Whose fault is it? My heart yuck. That's what most men get when they want to do something stupid. That's the problem. Eventually, we worked it out. He freed up some investments. We minimized that over allowance, but there was still a decent amount. I think it was 85,000 rand or whatever it was that was loaded on a Ranger. He drove the Ranger for a long time. Came back, bought an X1. Came back, bought a fancy Ranger. Came back. So we've done lots of deals ever since. But that 80,000 rand is always hanging on top of his head, and it just gets transferred from one to the next, to the next, to the next, because he doesn't pick a car. We can drive it for 48 months so that we can get rid of that 80,000 rand. That is negative equity. Is there any questions around negative equity? I'll give you 2 minutes before we proceed. Any questions around negative equity, please? The guys and girls on Zoom, you're welcome to shoot me anything in the chat box. Nothing else?
Not yet.
How many people are still on?
165.
Okay, cool. Let's go. Okay, perfect. Next point, positive equity. What are my options? So normally this is a situation where either you hit a more of a bargain on a vehicle, or you've paid a deposit upfront and you've waited the magic number of 32 to 36 months, or you've simply just enjoyed your car for a little bit longer and it's now 48 months, coming closer towards the maturity of the finance contract that you've taken out, and you've got positive equity, you've got a couple of options. For example, let's say for math's sake, your car is worth 250, you owe 150. Okay, you can take the 100,000 rand that you've got positive equity and take it out of the next car, meaning pay back the money to my account and do a full finance from the beginning, full pop price on the vehicle that we are purchasing. You can put that towards a deposit, the entire amount. You can take half the amount and put it towards a deposit. It's your money. You decide how you want to play with it. What I want you to be mindful of is the more deposit that you pay, the lower your installment is going to be on the next vehicle. Okay? The more deposit that you pay, the less interest you're going to pay the bank. The more deposit that you pay, the higher the probability it is for you to get approved. And here's the trick. I don't want you to pay the deposit up front to the dealer. I want you to say to the dealership the following. Do the full deal, no deposit, get me the best rate. The more the bank borrows you, the lower the rate will be. So if you're doing a deal for 350, okay, the bank sees the 350, okay, we're going to make X amount of money over the term and we'll present you with 12.5 interest rate. If you say 350 with 150 deposit, the bank says, okay, we're going to make less money on this customer because they're paying a deposit. Your interest rate is 13.75. Here's a trick. And I made a video like this a couple of months ago. It went super viral. And then something that was irritating is someone, it was a lawyer. Do you remember, Els?
Yeah.
A young lawyer, a young attorney, took my video, okay, dressed up in a cheap-ass Mr. Price suit and stood in front of a desk with some books behind him and copied my video word for word. My video got 800,000 views. He's got like 2.5 million views. So he phones me. He says, this is freaking awesome. I'm famous. I know nothing about the motor industry, but I'm unpacking capital reduction just like you. Can you send me some more ideas for videos to do? I'm like, young man, shut the F up. Like, stop copying me. Like, do content in what you're an expert in. But big ups on you. Congratulations. You gained some followers. It's freaking amazing. Well done. Keep it up.
King Ash, he's saying, hi, Uncle Bobby. I wish I found you years back when I bought my first car, second hand. I get them vastgetekend.
Yeah, listen, man. We all make mistakes, right? It's not final. It's not fatal. Now you know. So going back to the positive equity, if you're going to be paying a big deposit towards a vehicle, ask the dealer to do the contract as a full pop deal, get the best possible rate, squeeze the rate down, right down to the bottom. Okay. After you sign the contract, pay in the money and just write this word down. It's capital reduction. Else, you type it into the comment section somehow.
Yes.
Capital reduction. What you do is once you pay the deposit into the account that the dealer will give you. So, for example, if you're doing a West Bank deal, it will be a FMB, whatever the number is, and your reference number is the account number of your vehicle. Once you pay that deposit into your vehicle, then you ask for capital reduction. Now, the bank cannot go and give you a different interest rate because now all of a sudden the total debt that you've borrowed has decreased 30%. They're not allowed to. So you score the 1.4% over the term, which is thousands of rands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of rands, depending on how much money you borrowed for the car. So positive equity, if you're going to be putting a large deposit into your next car, make sure that you finance full pop, best lowest rate, negotiate the term that you're comfortable with, okay? And then for every 50,000 rand that you pay, this is a thumbs up, depending on how it's structured, it will reduce your installment by around 1,000, 1,200 rand per month. So if you punch in another 100 grand, you're going to be looking at best case scenario, 2,500 rand less, between 2 and 2.5, depending on the rate that you signed on and depending on how it was structured. The word is capital reduction. Capital reduction. I think there's a question that he posed or that you posed. Okay. As Gavin Kukamur, how can I know what my car value will be in 36 months and what mileage would be best, or what else needs to happen in order to get the best trading value? So Gavin, it's a very open-ended question, and I'll try and answer it as specifically as I possibly can, because I don't know what car you're driving, what mileage you bought it at, was there any load on the car, what rate, etc., how long you took it over. But typically after 36 months, if you took it over a period of like 72 months with a 30% balloon, that's typically what we signed today. And you don't do crazy mileage, brother. So it was at normal mileage, 25,000 Ks per year. So if it's a 2-year-old car, it had less than 50,000 kilometers. On 36 months, you end up exactly where the settlement value reaches the value of the car, between 32 and 36 months. Now, this is a tough question and it's open-ended, because if there was any loads, that period will be longer. If you took it over a longer period of time with residual, slightly longer. But typically 72 months with 30% balloon, 36 months if you drove normal mileage and you bought the car with normal mileage. I'm not talking like high mileage or crazy low. If it's crazy low and you do normal mileage, the vehicle's mileage will be lower, the conditions obviously better, you get money out at 36 months. But generally, normal mileage, good condition car, break even, 36 months, whatever that number is. I hope I answered your question. Gavin, if you want me to go deeper in your question, send me a WhatsApp, 0825426659. Provide me with all the details of your vehicle, and I'll put on my future eyes, and I'll give you an exact value. Any other questions?
No.
Geez, either I'm boring or explaining well, one of the two. Okay, pros of the podium. Okay, this is the first time. This is actually why we have a studio, because of that one word, podium. When I started educating South Africa around the podium, every single bank gave me shit. So reach out. What are you doing? Getting complaints from the dealers. Why would you diverge this information with the public? This is between you and us. Eventually I said, listen, guys, okay, maybe we need to create a group chat. Am I doing something illegal? No. All right, cool. Am I doing something unethical? No. Am I doing something against my SLA, my service level agreement that you made me sign? No. All right, cool. So I'm educating the public around how to buy cars smartly, and dealers that are doing funny things, scam things, are unhappy, posing complaints against me to you. That's why you're phoning me. Yes. Okay, cool. Let's get more complaints. Cheers. Bye-bye. That's it. So the podium is the document or the communication summary between the bank. Let me have a look. All right, Dean, I'll grab your question shortly, brother. So the podium is the documentation or the result of the bank's answer on your transaction. It will typically contain various things, but the two most important things that you need to look at is, what is the interest rate? Is it the recommended rate? Okay. And also, what is the term? So depending on how you want to structure the deal, if you have 2 or 3 bank approvals, typically you want the boys and girls that are doing your finance to send you all the podiums, because now you can have a look. Okay, ABSA gives me this, Westbank gives me that, MFC gave me this, Northeast gave me this, Standard Bank gave me this. All right. Unfortunately, this message is not a popular message, and people, the moment that I talk technical stuff like this, people are bored. They want to see Uncle Bobby make jokes in front of a sheshe and, with my all-stars and, take shots at LZ, short jokes. That's entertainment. Okay, the stuff that saves you money and makes you money is the boring stuff. And when I speak about it, lots of people check out. But for those of you that are watching, this is it. This is the game right here. The moment you have the podiums, the podium also contains the DIC amount, how much kickback the bank is giving the dealership. Now, the moment that you see, oh, we are leaning towards Westbank or ABSA or whatever bank because the DIC is more at my expense, at 1 or 2% more interest that I have to pay for as a customer. That's why we're leaning towards that bank. No, thank you. We're going with this bank because they're giving me the best deal. So that's very important. The last 4 or 5 minutes, okay, that I've been speaking, or 2 minutes, whatever the time is, you can thank me later by sending me Nando's Hot Pot Mild and a Coke Zero. A customer sent me 2 today. So no pressure on you, but you know, if I gave you a great idea or strategy, that's how you say thank you. Okay. And you send Elsie nothing because she's fasting for 3 days.
You can send me next week.
Yeah, you can if you want to, but if you don't want to, it's okay.
This was shirt, by the way.
What shirt?
That Chris gave us.
You gave me the shirt.
So there was 2.
There was 1 shirt in the packet.
Okay.
So do you want the shirt?
Is it a cool shirt?
Yes.
Damn it.
I'll bring you the shirt. It's fine. But you can wear it 1 week and then wash it, and then I'll wear it the next week.
Same size.
Yeah, same size. Slim fit, gym fit. So the guy, very nice man, the deputy principal of Boys High School, did a podcast with us, and he brought some legends. The world's best trail runner is South Africa. And the number 2 is also South African, sponsored by energy drink Red Bull. So to say thank you, because I did such a good job and I wasn't even here, he bought me a shirt and he bought Elsie nothing. Okay, back to the information. Okay, once you have the podiums, you can then see how the deal structure is made, and you can then decide who you want to go with. We go one step further than that at our company, and now is the time to promote our company. I will just send you a WhatsApp with a summary of all the podiums. There it is, on black and white, with all the information that you need to make a decision. So, sir, yeah, but I love ABSA. Okay, no problem. We go with ABSA, sir. Pay the 1.5% more because you're loyal to the Red Bank. I don't care. I get paid more if you go through ABSA. If I was you, I'm not loyal to a bank, and I'll never be loyal to a bank. I'm loyal to myself when it comes to finance, and I'm loyal to saving money. If ABSA doesn't want to come to the party, no matter how much you love them, 1.5% is a big difference on the bottom of your finance once you've paid the vehicle off. Capiche? Yes? Okay, cool. Let's go Westbank Bobs. Appreciate you. ABSA. I'm not punting ABSA, but I'm just saying all the banks sometimes mess it up and don't retain their return customers, and they can all improve in this area. All of them can improve in this area. Okay, what information is important? We went through that. Did I miss anything, Naomi?
No, there is a few questions.
Okay, let me handle this guy's question first. The new car versus newish used car. Obviously, the depreciation on a slightly used car has already been taken, so you're going to probably save 10 to 15%, and the car might still smell new. So if that answers your question, I hope it does. It's always nice to buy a new car. It's always lucky to be the first person to drive it, that new car smell and everything. But the moment you get home, it's a used car. So if you want to take the crack of the first 10 to 15%, you're welcome. We sold 4 new cars today. 3 Chinese and another brand, a Japanese brand. So there's lots of good specials on new cars today, especially the Chinese cars, because they're becoming flooded in the market. There's like an influx at the moment, but it is what it is. It's called capitalism, competition, and we go on. Use new, depending on how long you're going to drive the car. If you're prepared to take that initial crack, go for it. Next question. What are the pros and cons to vehicle finance? I mean, I've just answered. I don't know how to answer this question. The pros are, if you don't have the money to buy it cash, you can drive the car of your dreams. The cons are you have to pay interest to the biggest gangsters in the world, which are the banks. Okay, the next one.
Luke. Are you in the Luke one next?
With the vehicle. So is it advisable to do a trade-in after a year if you're not happy with the vehicle that you bought? I hope you joined us in the beginning, but it seems like you haven't. You're going to have negative equity after a year if you didn't pay a massive deposit. If you did, you're going to lose most of it. So if you're not happy with the vehicle, because you picked the wrong vehicle or because it's giving you a problem. Those are two different scenarios, but it seems like you picked the wrong vehicle. Then you're going to have negative equity. So there's going to be an over allowance going on the vehicle that you pick next, which you'll have to carry with you for another 2 years, which means you can't realistically trade in the second car after 36 months. You have to go 54 to 60 months for the second car. So if you cock that up on the first decision, make sure you get it right on the second decision, because if you don't, the third one might be a big A9. Okay, next question. Better than the rate. If you have been pre-approved for an interest rate of
12%.
12%
Dan lees verder.
from a bank,
Onder.
a bank can iterate, and if not, can you give me a better, more attractive loan? So it like literally depends, brother. So when a bank gives you a recommended rate, if it's a one bank approval, then there's not much you can do. It is what it is. Thank you for taking the risk. You haven't managed your accounts well, or you are brand new to finance. There's no leverage. The leverage comes in realistically if you have multiple bank approvals, meaning you have a approved transaction with Westbank, ABSA, MFC, and now we can start putting them up against each other to fight for a best rate until they all say, listen, I don't want the deal anymore. You can have it. And at that point, we're happy to do the deal with you at this rate. So that's realistically what happens. We play a bit of ping pong with the banks, and then we just see, until they're like, listen, I'm walking away from this deal. If you push me any further, this is my best deal. And we'll come back to you and say, sir, we got it down from 12.48 to 11.75 or whatever the number is. And this is the best we can get you. The banks don't want to go further. I hope that answers your question. Next. Best Standard Bank vehicle. How is Standard Bank's vehicle finance? So Standard Bank loves to do new cars. I'll be honest with you, they are not the most aggressive on used cars. Their team that works at the bank is phenomenal. Like, I love those guys and girls to bits, and I wish we could give them more business. We just had a meeting a couple of hours ago with Westbank. We almost broke our all-time record with Westbank this month. It's like a big number. One of the top 5 people at Westbank messaged me and said, Bobs, I saw your figure, like freaking well done. I'm like, sit tight. Next month is going to be bigger. She was like, very religious girl, from your mouth to God's ears. Let's go. So I wish I could give that business, all of it, to Standard Bank. Now, unfortunately, they don't target used cars so much. They like the new car business. That's why a division outside of Standard Bank was created, which is Marquise Finance. For those of you that didn't know, the backing, the actual money comes from Standard Bank, very similar to what Nedbank and MFC did. So Nedbank's car finance sucked, and that's public knowledge. It's not breaking news, but MFC came in very aggressive, very dynamic, very tech-driven, very tech-enabled, super kick-ass team. Those guys are legit. Like my BDO from MFC, she knows who she is. I'll go to war with her, not against her. She's a freaking killer. And that's why they take most of the business. Now, Standard Bank saw this and they said, okay, cool. They pulled probably the top 5 or 10 people from Westbank. Andrew Marshall is the CEO of Marquise Bank. He's a personal friend of mine. He's a freaking rock star. He created a team that is absolutely disrupting the financial world. I'm so proud of what that team has done. They are innovative. They are quick. They want the business. They want to earn the business. They're not saying, give me business. Saying, how can we get more business from you? What is important to you? Give the best rates to my customers, be super aggressive and timely. When we apply, give us the answer. When we send you Val's docs, give us the validations. When we send you our payouts, pay us out quick. Make it slick and effortless. Probably today, I'll say this on camera, I don't mind, I don't care. They are the nicest to work with when it comes to being efficient. They are superior. But yeah, Standard Bank, as Standard Bank on its own, quite good on new cars. used cars, okay-ish, phenomenal team. Just Mockies is absolutely disrupting. They are doing a phenomenal job. They are very aggressive. Okay, next question. I own 90K on my Honda X3520. Can I qualify for a new model car? Yes, you can, 100%, sir. Oh, ma'am, I'm not sure. The name is Always Towing Natal. So keep on towing, brother or sister. Keep on towing. So yes, you can reach out to me, send me a WhatsApp. We'll spend a few minutes in the studio after this, and I'll answer your WhatsApp and I'll answer all your questions offline should we run out of time. Okay, no one's kicking me under the table yet, so maybe I can take one or two more. Else, can I take one or two more? All right, cool. Can a client request a podium from the dealer? Of course, it's your information. It's your information. And if the dealer doesn't want to give you the podium, then you should ask yourself, am I buying from the right dealer? Why would they not give you your own information? It's your information. It's got nothing to do with me or Elsie. It's your information. The dealership must give you the podium. That's it. If they don't, see, there's a fear that you're going to shop them. You're going to shop their deal. So if you don't want the fear, just give the best deal up front. No problem. Refinance a residual when okay, this is a good question. Can you refinance a residual when it's due if we don't want to get rid of the car? Yes, you can go another 24 months. Very good question. However, bear in mind, you still need to qualify for that finance. So it will be treated like a new application. If you've screwed up your name along the way, they might decline you. Then you have to come up with the money or sell the vehicle to settle the car. So do an application get into contact with your bank. If you want to know who the contact person is, WhatsApp me later, and I'll share information of the contact person to the relevant bank and get it done nice and early. Don't wait for the last day. Okay, be smart. Hope that answers your question. Any better to take out personal loan in the car fund? Yeah, you can go and take out a personal loan and pay 19% interest versus vehicle finance that's 12, 13%. So if you want to make the banks more money with a personal loan, go for it. Go have fun. Can qualify. Okay, 8.5. You just qualify for a car, something in the 120, 140 region. However, it will have to be fairly new, like a 1 or 2 year old car. Quid, Espresso, that's your game that you want to play in. And it will have to be taken over a long period with residual value to minimize your installment because they're only allowed to give you 30% of your gross. Okay, does your credit card deposit influence? Does your credit score deposit influence you to better negotiate your rate? It's all about your credit score and then obviously the age of the vehicle. So the risk on the car, the risk on you will determine the interest rate that you get. If you're a high risk customer, so if you're, I'm going to say this on camera. Some of the closing calls that I make, I don't post on TikTok because it seems bullish. I'm going to give you the scenario. Okay, the scenario is very simple. Customer score starts with a 5. I present a 1 bank approval, and then I present a 14.95% interest rate. And the customer says, I want prime rate. I said, so are you ready for me? Yes, Uncle Bobby. When your ITC score starts with a 5, you are not allowed to use the word prime rate. It's not allowed. Can't be used. Your ITC score starts with an 8, that word can be used. Some 7s or a 9. We had a 913 approval today. 913. Max is 930. This customer is a 913. I don't know how they do it, but it's possible. So when your ITC score starts with a 5, you are actually not allowed to use in your vocabulary at that stage of your life prime rate. Because the bank will just laugh at you and say, no, thank you, and move away and maybe decline the deal and block you. So the fact that you've got an approval with a low ITC score, there's zero room to wiggle. If your score is decent and you've got multiple bank approval, yes, you can pin them up against each other. But if your score is low, you can't get a low rate. Salary. Okay, okay. H2A worker, we do 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 a week. Just reach out. It's a very technical application. One of the videos that we posted on H2A workers got 1.5 million views. Did you see that?
Yeah.
1.5 million views. I've helped hundreds of H2A workers and their families back home. Reach out on WhatsApp. I'll explain to you in great detail how we're going to sort you out with the car.
Jy moet sien hoe Hailey al die mense antwoord.
Who's Hailey?
Hailey Rudolph, you know, Hailey that usually joins our live.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, Hailey?
She literally like answers all of the people. Do we do H2A? Yes, they do.
Thank you, Hailey. I think we need to send Hailey Nando's hot pot malt and a Coke Zero. And a quarter chicken leg malt.
And a cap.
And a cap and a side of berry wedges. Ish. I know my order off bar and I know how much it costs. I just tap. Okay. What's the price on the red GTI? It was sold. We've got a white one. Someone buying a finance car for the first time. Aside from the podium, what else is important to ask? Okay, so first time buyer, you need to ask how many banks have approved me. Okay, and this is where you need to be dancing a tightrope. If it's a one bank approval, brother, sister, I don't know who you are, LJ92. Okay, so there's three genders, right? It's male, female, and weirdo. So I hope you're one of the first two. Just a joke. So how many banks have approved me? One or two. Okay, great. Which banks have approved me? And present me with the deals of each and every bank. How can we get the rate lower? Can we pin them up against each other? What is the structure? And then that's the only leverage really that you have. If it's a one bank approval, you've got no leverage. You just need to accept that the first time around, you're going to get a bit of a shambok on your rate. It is what it is. Everybody gets it. You're not special. Everybody gets it. And then move on from there. That's it. And I'm like 20 minutes over my targeted time.
Yeah, but we did
11 minutes. 11 minutes, sorry. Okay, is that it, Els?
That's it.
Between now and then, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to dive deeper into some of these questions, 082-542-6659, 082-542-6659. Send me a WhatsApp, and if you're looking to buy or sell a vehicle from the number one dealer in the country, but number one in your heart, shoot Uncle B a message, and we'll deliver anywhere in beautiful sunny South Africa. Join us tomorrow for the best, biggest auction that we've ever had.
Yeah.
8 or 9 cars. We've got Polos, we've got Buckies, we've got one-tonners, we've got sedans, we've got panel vans, we've got